In this video, we're going to talk all about weapons tuning and how overly complicated it has become for the new Warzone. Right, so you're kind of left in the dark to look at these little gauges and hope that they're all accurate to what the game's actually going to reproduce it. But it's not. After tons of testing and all kinds of labor that other people have put in, not myself, it's been proven that these scales are not defined in a straight line motion. So like the further you get towards the end of the scale, it's not going to gradually increase like you would assume a scale should do. So, and they don't explain any of this to you, the mechanics. So I'm going to quote somebody that knows a lot more than me at this game, which would be COD. Alright, so I'm going to quote this video from COD. He explained it way better than I could, and he took the data from another independent researcher. This guy is True Game Data, so he is also up on the internet, as you can see down here. Biggest mistakes you can do with tuning in Warzone 2.0, and he's 100% right. Like, it could be a huge mistake that can set your progress back a little bit if you're really trying to get that gun or that loadout or that, you know, that specific type of play style to work for you. Then you really need to get it tuned to the way you're going to use it, and understanding how to make those tunes is really what's going to help you in this game as it goes on and as it progresses. So he's done some amazing footage here to kind of highlight. So I'm going to show you first the clip from True Game Data, which is the ones who did this study on how these fine-tune adjustments are actually adjusting the game and the gun. So here, let's jump on this just real quick.
Question, which was really the big one, is are these linear? And what I mean by that is if you drag this slider all the way to the right on aiming idle stability, is that exactly twice as much as halfway to aiming idle stability? Because if you look at the actual radar plot in the center, you'll see that sometimes they seem to change in weird ways you wouldn't expect. It looks non-linear as you're sliding it, so that was one of the big things I wanted to figure out today, was whether or not these are just a direct linear correlation with these stats. And we got some good stuff in here, so let's jump to Commando foregrip. That's what I showed in the intro to the video as well.
Yeah, you can see what he was talking about basically is what I was touching on, is how definitive are these adjustments you're doing. Right, you would assume the end of the scale being 100% effectiveness and the other end being also 100% effectiveness, because you're talking about choosing between one effect versus another effect. So on this RPK you have recoil smoothness versus aim down sight speed, and you've got to make a choice. Do you want to give up aim down sight to get smoothness? Do you want to get rid of smoothness, aim down sight? So you would assume both ends of the poles are 100%. That's not what has been proven to show. So as you can see, clicked up here on the FTAC Ripper ADS attachments. So he's put ADS increased attachments on there and then adjusted the tuning ratios. You can see at 658 on the fine-tuned scale, he was able to -9 milliseconds. So that's what it affected him. And then as you can see, he's tuning for negative aim down sight, because that scale is, you know, it's a scale. So at this time he did the testing for the negative aim down sight, and it's positive 8 milliseconds. So it's not equal, right? It should be 99, 8 and 8. It's not. One side's 9, one side's 8. So that's showing you that fundamentally the scales are not balanced. They're not level. So when you assume that going 100% is going to give you all of the ability of that, you know, attribute that you're trying to get for that gun, it just doesn't work that way. And I know this is super complex, and that's what I'm telling you. This system that they've introduced to try to be more friendly to the casual player is now totally messing up how people are able to jump right into it and know what they're doing. Because this whole thing that they've given us is completely irrational to the average player that doesn't know what it's doing, what's happening.
And I did a bunch of different testing to see how this worked out. So we've got the Lockman 5.56 with the F-Tac Ripper with no tuning at all. It was the only attachment on the weapon. When you tune it for ADS, I got 267 versus no tuning 279. So that's 12 milliseconds faster. So pretty small amount there. That's less than 1 frame at 60 FPS. That's 3 frames at 240 FPS. So the error in my measurements in these tests is usually plus or minus like 4 milliseconds because that's 1 frame at 240 FPS. The tests are very consistent and repeatable, but there's always going to be like 1 frame of error because if you think about it, if the
Yeah, so basically he went into it, like he went deep into it to try to figure out, are these attachments really speeding up my aim down sight speed instead of just saying they are, right? So and it's been proven. So he's got a lot of stuff going on. And he did, let's see, this is true
and then the
gaming
reticle
data.
sways around on top of that. The gun has a little bit of shake and wobble on top of that. So from this, I can get all that information. But then if we actually look at the values that I got from this.
So yeah, he's basically tracked the sway, so that way he knows if the attachments are decreasing sway, increasing sway, and he's doing it frame by frame, really getting in there and making sure that he gets these numbers as accurate as he can get, because Call of Duty's just not out here doing it. Like they're not telling you these things. So now we're going to jump over here, and JGod pretty much has taken that data that True Gaming Data has supplied, and he's been able to break it down a little bit more, so that way it's easier to understand, kind of a little easier to talk about.
Somewhere probably around halfway through this line, where you'd have a line that went there, you get a small minor difference and then a huge difference, and this penalty does not correlate to this one on the left. You can see that this one went up a little bit more, and then a little bit more.
And so what he's talking about with that penalty is when you're tuning your gun on fine tuning, you're going to get penalized because you're going the opposite way of an attribute, right? There's attributes on both sides of the scale. So no matter where you go, you're always going to be going away from one attribute, which is going to be your penalty. So as you can see, look at these graphs real quick. So let's say right here where my cursor's at, let's say this is middle of the scale and you want to fine tune it all the way over here. If you go all the way to the max, you can see that between here and here, there's almost no gain. But the scale, I know the cursor's in the way a little bit, but I can see it. So on the other end of the scale down here, there is a difference. So there's more of a penalty for being further away than from gaining. You know what I mean? So like in order for these scales to be even, like this is a linear line. You would expect 100% here is 100% here. But that's not what's happening down here in real game data. What you're getting is once you go to that 100% mark, you're not gaining a benefit. You're almost certainly going to be gaining this increased, let's see, penalty, basically. So you won't see a benefit, but you will see a reduction. And it's going to break that down a little bit more. I know that sounds crazy to hear that you're going to actually get penalized for going 100% on the tuning, but
this
just
one went
just watch.
Down a little bit, and then a huge penalty, then a minor penalty, and it kind of caps out. You can't get any worse because it is bad and happening. So if I go all the way to the far right, we can see that recoil pushes out, accuracy goes in. As I go ahead and slide this, if we look close at this accuracy one, we'll see it goes up, and then it down, and then back up a little bit. So right here, you can see that it's going down in that progress. So the same thing that we're seeing here, you might have one where it has a huge jump.
Yeah, so what he's basically showing you is that the game is telling you this data. Like it's literally saying in this circle graph that when you go to 100%, you're going to be hurting this accuracy, because we know that because then this corner gets sucked in, which is less. Even though the recoil didn't change, which is what you're trying to get, it did change the accuracy. So you're not gaining more recoil, but you are losing accuracy for going to that 100%. Whereas when he stopped, let's see.
Seen here, you might have one where it has a huge jump. It's going
Back it up a little
down.
bit. So like, see, his cursor is at 100%, and the accuracy is beyond this inner ring, right? So you know you're getting more accuracy.
Down in that
And as he starts going back the other way,
progress. So the same thing that we're
look
seeing
at that
here,
right there.
you might
You
have one
gain
where it has
recoil,
a huge
but you
jump
lose all your accuracy.
and then almost nothing.
But he explains it in different. Let's see. Let's watch this one right here. Watch this one.
On these, you can see we're not really seeing any penalties at this point. It doesn't even move when we adjust right here, hardly at all. But when we go to aim down sight, you can see the huge jumps there. So you kind of want to find that happy medium where, okay, cool, I got the benefit, and boom, you can see that little drop off there on handling, and you're able to make those adjustments. So this is kind of what you would do. I know.
Yeah, so it's like it's fine tuning, which it's not always completely explained to you how you should fine tune. You would assume fine tune it, you want to go to the max of what you're actually looking for. But as it's being shown, going to the max, which is up here, was actually going to be hurting the handling and not giving you what you really want. So what he's saying is like really watch for that little change, when you're making these changes, and you'll know, okay, well, I'm not seeing more benefit if I go up more, but I am seeing more negative in this side if I go up. So that's when you know I don't need to go up anymore. This is the best that it's going to get before it starts adding on penalties from the other end of the board. Really crazy, really in-depth, really deep type of information that they're trying to like embed and lay.
I know it's
in
an
the tuning
overcomplicated
process.
system until we get the data mined data from sim.gg, which is the only site that builds.
So now they're sending off data mining data to figure out how we can tune our guns. Okay, this is the level it's gotten to for this basic, not basic, I mean this user-friendly game. Okay, this supposedly user-friendly game has now gotten to levels that we are data mining frame by frame information and analyzing it to figure out what is actually happening with these tunes. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll check this out. Alright, now we're jumping back into the game. So, as you can see, with the fine-tuning process, we're going to jump into this. I'm going to change the scope, because I haven't been liking it, so I don't want to fine-tune the scope that I don't like. Need to put this... I like this 5.5 optic. Oh, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? I might not have it on this one. Oh, there it is, that right there. 5.5 magnification. So on this fine tuning, you see how fast we're moving, you see how many things are moving, we're going on all kinds. We need to figure out what we want to do. Do we want aim down sight speed, or do we want flinch resistance? Those are both really good attributes, so now we've got to figure out exactly what it's changing. So we can see our accuracy just on this scale. This is going to give us max accuracy right there. Right here is max accuracy. Now if we keep going, oh, you do get max accuracy over here, my bad, sorry. Max accuracy right up here, and then accuracy goes down, 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 and then back up, and then down again. So it goes back up right here, and then down again. So like if you were fighting the scale, you could see this would be it. That would be your perfect spot to get maximum in between action. If we go all the way to our flinch resistance, look at handling. Handling on the left-hand side. Handling's almost nothing. Like it gets rid of all handling. But as you go down, you get max handling right about here. This is max handling, but it's also going to be max accuracy. So even though flinch resistance, what else is it doing? Doesn't look like it's adjusting any other points besides those 2 points, accuracy and handling. So if you want max accuracy, you're going to be up here. If you want max handling, you need to be down there. But let's say I want something in between the both. I want mostly aim down sight speed, because this gun has terrible aim down sight speed. So maybe, so that's like the lowest right there. Gets real low over here, really, really low on handling. Right, I think right here is going to be the best, the fine point, because if I go any more down, the handling, the accuracy. So if I go down, the accuracy is taking a hit, and if I go up, then your handling's taking a hit. So right about there is going to be the good one, 1.8. Now we need to do it for the close and far. See how, and then now look, it's going to change something else. No, wait, 1.8. Why did it change from 1.8 to 1.9? There we go. I'm looking at the close and the far right now. It's not physically changing anything on the board, but I definitely want maybe medium. Yeah, right about 2, 3. So that's going to be it for this one. Boom, we're going to save that there. And then you have to do this to every attachment that you want to work on if you're going to try to find that maximum top fine-tune point. So we're going to go to this heavy support stock. Whoa, you get a big jump in accuracy right there. Big jump. And then you go all the way down to the scale, and it stops doing anything really. Like if you look, your accuracy changes a little bit, but not like at the other end of the scale. So what do you want? You want aim down walking steadiness, or do you want aim down sight speed? Aim down sight speed is pretty important, but you also need steadiness. And it's going to hurt your accuracy if you go to aim down sight speed. But it's going to help your handling. So let's see, right here's another one where you're judging between your handling or your accuracy. What's going to be the most important? So let's see, that's right here is at like the very top of handling. So then, and then you see how much it pulls down accuracy right there. Even though you're not getting any more handling, it's definitely pulling down your accuracy. So we need to go maximum right here. Right there, I think. Right there. 2.0 is 0 is what I wanted, but I can only get to 2.08 because they don't let you like individually adjust these, I don't think. And then you got to change the other setting, which is aim walking speed or aim idle stability. Oh yeah, and you can see it just completely throws off all mobility. Or you can bring it back and you get most of your mobility back. So we're going to study this real quick, see what the maximum. Aim idle stability is pretty important. So like right here, you don't gain much more accuracy. Oh, I moved my, there we go. I think right about there is going to be a good spot. Moving down to the demo, got to tune that guy. So you got recoil steadiness versus aim down sight speed again. And it's definitely hurting recoil a lot when you go aim down sight. Handling goes a lot more up when you go aim down sight. So what do you want? You want handling, you want recoil, because it's making you choose. I'm gonna probably go for like good amount of recoil. So like right here, recoil is not changing, but your handling is very slightly, very slightly. So we're gonna go back down. Now we're starting to lose recoil, and we're not gaining any more handling. So you lose recoil, you gain. You see, it's so not linear. It's not a straight addition, subtraction. Like there's a lot of factors going in right now for some reason. I want to get max recoil, so for this gun, so I want to go to about right here. This is going to give me good recoil. Right there, 0.58 on the recoil steadiness. It's going to be, oh, and then see, look, now we're sprint to fire speed versus that, it's totally throwing all of this off, as you can see. Let's see. This fine tuning is really tough. I think right there is going to be good, like 0.19 inch, and then you still got your 5.6, I think. Right there. So that's those three. Still got this F-Tac Ripper to do. Let's see, that's going to lose a lot of accuracy going down here, and you're not gaining much more handling. So then if you bump it up, all the way to the top, it doesn't really, see like this last 10%, it's not giving you more handling, but it is taking away from your, or I'm sorry, this last 10% is not giving you more accuracy, but it is taking away from your handling, which doesn't make any sense. You would expect going all the way to the end of the chart would give you the most benefit, but it's not. The last 10-20% is actually giving you all decrease. It's all negative. So you want to find the point at which it starts to really dip off, like right here. You see that handling is really dipping off right there, but your accuracy is not gaining much more from it. So I think right about right here is going to be the sweet spot. And then we got to move to the other one, which changes different stuff. Figure out what you want to keep. So then accuracy, see how much is taken away from your mobility. So like probably right here maybe. See, nothing's really changing in this 10% range. But if you go just a little bit more, you lose a lot of mobility. It's crazy, you're actually not gaining much accuracy. Well, I guess that's a pretty good jump right there. As it decreases, that's coming out. I'm gonna say this one's close right here. In the middle, it's pretty close to what it needs to be. Did I change this way too much? No, right there is where I wanted. Alright, last attachment, here we go. I mean, all of this just to get that fine-tune aspect of the game. Got your handling, it's changing handling a lot, so we need to figure out, well, what do we want from this? Do we want recoil smoothness or aim down sight speed? I think the most benefit is definitely going to be probably right here. Starting to hit handling like a lot. And each attachment's independent to the gun's overall use. So like right now, each attachment, I'm tuning it to be kind of best of both worlds. And then it's all going to come together on the gun. Whereas if you tuned each attachment to get the maximum aim down sight speed, then when it all comes together at the end, it's all individual metrics. Like, yeah, crazy depth of level to that. I'm going to say we keep it. That's so weird. When you go all the way to the max, you would expect recoil smoothness to do something, but it's not helping your recoil. Not much more. Like in the max right there, but it's hurting your handling like a lot. Right there is going to be the best on that. Then you got to fine tune this. What do I want? Aim idle stability or bullet velocity? I'm going to say velocity is pretty important. But you can't lose. See that if that last 10% is not doing anything. Right there's probably the sweet spot. Okay. So now we have successfully fine-tuned and built one gun. And I think that only took up, what, maybe 15 minutes? So, does every casual player have 15 minutes to sit on each single gun and fine-tune it to meet its maximum potential, which is what most people want from their guns, their maximum potential, right? Now we need to figure out, that you can save these now. Save a custom mod. You can save them to the armory. So that is a big change for this new update that came out a couple days ago. People were complaining that how long it in a process that they've made to tune your guns. If you wanted to say like redo that loadout slot for something else, you would completely lose this 15-20 minutes of effort that you've put in. Well, now they allowed you to save that. Not that they fixed the system to tune your guns, but they did allow you to save that time you put in. So I'm going to save this one as RPK. We're going to jump in the firing range real quick, and I'm going to see how these mods really worked out. Because I did shoot this gun before I fine-tuned it, and it was good. It was good. RPK is just, it's hitting right now. So with the fine-tune, you can see the aim down sight definitely a lot faster than what it was. Which is one thing I was focusing on with my attachments, was my aim down sight speed. The damage definitely isn't as, it was hitting a lot harder before, I think, on damage. So I think one of the attachments I've picked, I think, has lowered my damage a little bit, or the velocity, maybe. Alright, but, I mean, you can see the level that we're going into for these gun tunes. That's going to be it for this video. Hope you like the content. Hope you like what the guys over at COD are doing and the guys over at True Game Data are doing. It's definitely a big deal what they got going on. That's going to be it. We're going to close this one off. If you enjoyed the content, like and subscribe for more. And we'll keep trying to elaborate on these crazy Warzone 2 systems that they've built into the game.